Every transformation begins long before the first visible result. It begins in the quiet conversations you have with yourself when no one else is listening. Long before your hands create success, your mind must first believe it is possible. The story you repeat every day becomes the blueprint for every decision you make. If that story tells you that you are limited, your actions will unconsciously protect those limits. If that story tells you that you are capable of growth, your actions will naturally begin moving toward opportunities that once seemed impossible. Research in cognitive psychology has consistently shown that repeated thought patterns strengthen neural pathways, making familiar beliefs easier to access and reinforcing future behavior. This means your brain is constantly adapting to the messages you feed it, whether those messages build confidence or reinforce doubt. Many people believe they need more confidence before taking action. In reality, confidence often follows action, but action itself follows belief. Your beliefs create expectations. Your expectations shape your choices. Your choices determine your habits, and your habits quietly build your future. That entire chain begins with one simple thing: the story you tell yourself every single day. Think about the words that automatically appear when you face a challenge. Do you tell yourself that you are not ready? Do you convince yourself that others are naturally gifted while you are not? Or do you remind yourself that every expert once stood exactly where you are now, uncertain but willing to learn? Those silent thoughts may seem insignificant, yet they influence every decision that follows. They either open doors or quietly close them before you ever reach the handle. The human mind is designed to search for evidence that supports existing beliefs. If you repeatedly tell yourself that success belongs to other people, your brain will notice every setback as proof. Every mistake becomes confirmation that you should stop. Every obstacle appears larger than it truly is. But when you replace that story with one built on growth, persistence, and possibility, your mind begins searching for different evidence. Challenges become lessons. Failure becomes feedback. Small victories become proof that progress is happening, even when the destination is still far away. This is why changing your life is not simply about changing your schedule. It is about changing your identity. Instead of saying, "I want to become successful," begin asking, "What would a successful person choose in this moment?" That single shift changes everything. Your focus moves away from temporary emotions and toward lasting character. You stop chasing motivation and start building consistency. Your environment also plays a powerful role in reinforcing your personal story. Every conversation, every book, every video, and every relationship either strengthens your belief in yourself or slowly weakens it. If you spend enough time surrounded by negativity, your inner voice begins to echo those opinions. But if you intentionally surround yourself with people, ideas, and experiences that encourage growth, your internal dialogue starts changing without force. Your mind gradually accepts a new standard for what is possible. There will be moments when the old story tries to return. Doubt will whisper that nothing has changed. Fear will remind you of previous failures. That is not a sign that you are moving backward. It is evidence that your old identity is resisting replacement. Keep repeating the new story through your actions, your discipline, and your daily decisions. Eventually, what once felt unnatural becomes familiar, and what once felt impossible becomes your normal reality. Success is rarely created by one extraordinary moment. It is created by thousands of ordinary moments where you choose to believe a better story than yesterday. Every morning offers another opportunity to rewrite the narrative. Every challenge offers another opportunity to prove that your future is not controlled by your past. The story you repeat today is quietly becoming the life you will live tomorrow. Every extraordinary achievement begins with something invisible. Before there is progress, recognition, or success, there is a reason powerful enough to keep someone moving when the excitement disappears. Most people believe achievement is built on talent, intelligence, or perfect timing. Those things may create opportunities, but they rarely create lasting commitment. The people who continue long after everyone else has stopped usually share one common trait: they know exactly why they started. History repeatedly shows that individuals with a clear sense of purpose demonstrate greater persistence during setbacks than those driven only by rewards. Purpose acts as an internal compass, helping people maintain direction when external motivation fades and circumstances become difficult. Anyone can feel motivated on a good day. Anyone can work hard when results arrive quickly. The real test comes when progress slows, when obstacles appear, and when doubt begins asking whether the effort is worth it. In those moments, motivation is rarely enough. Emotion changes with circumstances. Purpose does not. A meaningful reason gives your action stability even when your feelings become uncertain. Imagine beginning a journey without knowing your destination. Every road looks confusing because none of them seem important. Every obstacle feels unnecessary because there is no bigger picture to justify overcoming it. That is exactly how many people approach their dreams. They chase success because it sounds attractive, but they never define what success truly means to them. As a result, they become distracted by every shortcut, every comparison, and every setback. A clear reason changes everything. It transforms work into contribution. It transforms discipline into commitment. It transforms sacrifice into investment. When your purpose becomes larger than your comfort, difficult decisions become easier because they serve something greater than temporary pleasure. Many people spend years asking, "What should I do?" A more powerful question is, why does this matter? Skills can be learned. Opportunities can be created. Resources can be gathered over time. But purpose cannot be borrowed from someone else's dream. It must come from your own values, your own experiences, and your own vision for the future. When your reason belongs to you, no criticism can easily take it away because it is rooted deeper than public opinion. Purpose also creates clarity during moments of uncertainty. Every successful person eventually faces distractions disguised as opportunities. Not every good opportunity is the right opportunity. Without a clear reason, you begin saying yes to everything. Your energy becomes divided. Your focus disappears. Progress slows because your attention is constantly pulled in different directions. A strong purpose acts like a filter. It allows you to recognize what deserves your energy and what deserves your refusal. There will always be people who misunderstand your vision. Some will question your decisions because they cannot see the destination you are working toward. That is why your reason cannot depend on approval. If your purpose requires constant validation, it will collapse the moment criticism appears. Real conviction is built privately before it is demonstrated publicly. Long before others believe in your dream, you must believe in the value behind it. Purpose also influences the quality of your daily habits. Small actions often feel insignificant when viewed individually. Reading a few pages, improving one skill, making one better decision, or refusing one distraction may not seem life-changing. Yet when every small action is connected to a meaningful reason, consistency becomes easier. You are no longer completing tasks because someone told you to. You are completing them because they move you closer to the life you intentionally chose. Eventually, achievements become visible to the world, but they are only the final chapter of a much longer story. Behind every breakthrough are countless mornings when no applause existed, countless evenings filled with discipline, and countless decisions guided by purpose instead of convenience. The reason came first. The achievement simply became its natural result. Success is rarely the result of one extraordinary decision. More often, it is the outcome of ordinary actions repeated so consistently that they quietly transform the person performing them. Every morning you wake up, every choice you make, and every habit you repeat is shaping more than your schedule. It is shaping your identity. The person you become tomorrow is being built by the routines you practice today. Behavioral science has repeatedly found that consistent daily routines are strongly associated with long-term achievement because repeated actions gradually become automatic, reducing the mental effort required to maintain productive behaviors over time. Many people focus only on outcomes. They dream about becoming successful, confident, disciplined, or respected. Yet they overlook the simple truth that identity is not created by goals alone. Identity is created by evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you provide evidence that you are dependable. Every time you choose learning over excuses, you provide evidence that you are growing. Every time you continue despite discomfort, you reinforce the belief that persistence is part of who you are. The challenge is that habits rarely produce dramatic results in a single day. One workout does not transform a body. One chapter does not make someone an expert. One disciplined morning does not completely change a life. Because the progress is almost invisible, many people convince themselves that their effort does not matter. They stop before the habit has enough time to reveal its true power. Imagine placing one small stone on the ground every day. At first it seems insignificant. Days pass and the pile still appears small. But after enough time, those tiny stones become a wall. Habits work in exactly the same way. Every small action adds another layer to your future. Eventually, the life you experience reflects the choices you repeated rather than the promises you once made. This is why successful people often appear different from everyone else. Their greatest advantage is not extraordinary willpower. Their advantage is that productive behaviors have become normal. They no longer debate whether they should read, practice, prepare, or improve. Those actions have become part of their identity. Discipline is no longer a struggle because consistency has become familiar. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. That approach gives emotions control over progress. Feelings rise and fall throughout every week. Habits remain when motivation disappears. The strongest routines are built on commitment rather than emotion. You do not perform them because every day feels exciting. You perform them because they represent the person you have chosen to become. Your environment also influences your habits more than you may realize. If distractions are always within reach, resisting them becomes exhausting. If growth is always visible, choosing improvement becomes easier. The spaces you create around yourself either encourage your best behaviors or quietly reinforce your worst ones. Small adjustments to your surroundings often produce bigger changes than relying on willpower alone. There will be days when your progress feels invisible. You may wonder whether your efforts are making any difference. Those are the moments that matter most. Every repeated action strengthens your character before it changes your circumstances. The transformation is happening internally long before it becomes visible externally. Patience allows those invisible changes to mature into lasting results. Your future identity is never built in a single breakthrough. It is built through thousands of ordinary decisions that most people ignore. Choosing preparation instead of procrastination. Choosing learning instead of comfort. Choosing consistency instead of excuses. Those moments may appear small on their own, but together they become the foundation of an entirely different life. When people eventually admire confidence, success, or leadership, they are often seeing the final result of habits that were practiced quietly for years. Behind every remarkable achievement is an invisible collection of disciplined mornings, focused afternoons, intentional evenings, and countless decisions made when nobody was watching. Your habits are never simply filling your day. They are steadily creating the person your future will recognize. Before the speech, here's a strong opening statistic line. Asterisk, asterisk, strong stats line. Asterisk, asterisk, research in psychology consistently shows that people who learn to interpret fear as useful information rather than a signal to stop are more likely to persist through challenges, adapt to setbacks, and achieve long-term goals. Writing variant equals standard ID equals 39,261. Hash hash asterisk asterisk fear is information. Not a stop sign asterisk asterisk. Every meaningful journey begins with uncertainty. The moment you decide to pursue something greater than your current reality, fear often arrives as an uninvited companion. Many people see that feeling as a warning to turn around. They assume fear means they are unprepared, incapable, or destined to fail. But fear is not always a signal to stop. More often, it is a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth. It is information telling you that what lies ahead matters enough to challenge who you are today. Fear has existed throughout human history because it serves an important purpose. It alerts us to unfamiliar situations and encourages us to pay attention. The problem begins when we mistake awareness for limitation. Instead of listening to fear as a source of information, we allow it to become the author of our decisions. We give it authority over dreams it was never designed to control. Think about every major step that has ever changed your life. The first interview, the first presentation, the first business idea, the first difficult conversation, the first opportunity that pushed you beyond your comfort zone. Chances are, fear was present before every one of those moments. Yet if you had allowed that feeling to decide your future, many of those experiences would never have happened. The presence of fear did not predict failure. It simply confirmed that the moment was important. The greatest mistake people make is believing that courageous individuals feel no fear. Courage has never been the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to continue even when uncertainty exists. The people you admire most have faced the same doubts, questioned their own abilities, and experienced the same hesitation. What separated them was not a different emotional experience. It was a different response. They refused to let temporary emotions define permanent decisions. Fear often asks powerful questions. What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you are not good enough? Those questions demand your attention, but they do not deserve unquestioned belief. Every challenge also presents another question that deserves equal consideration. What if you succeed? What if this opportunity changes your future? What if the obstacle you fear today becomes the story that inspires someone else tomorrow? Growth always requires entering territory that feels unfamiliar. Your brain naturally prefers routines because familiarity creates comfort. That is why every meaningful improvement initially feels uncomfortable. Learning a new skill feels awkward. Building discipline feels difficult. Taking responsibility feels demanding. None of those feelings mean you are moving in the wrong direction. They simply indicate that your current identity is expanding beyond its previous limits. Fear also reveals what you value. You fear speaking because your message matters. You fear leading because responsibility is significant. You fear beginning because your dream is important enough to risk disappointment. Instead of treating fear as an enemy, learn to study it. Ask what it is trying to teach you. Sometimes it reveals areas where preparation is needed. Sometimes it exposes limiting beliefs that need replacing. Sometimes it simply reminds you that the next step carries real meaning. There will always be voices encouraging you to remain comfortable. Comfort feels safe because it demands very little. Yet comfort has a hidden cost. It protects you from failure, but it also protects you from growth. Every extraordinary achievement requires leaving behind the certainty of what is known to discover the possibilities that exist beyond it. Fear may accompany that journey, but it does not have to lead it. The future belongs to those who understand that fear is a messenger rather than a master. Listen carefully to what it reveals, prepare wisely for what it exposes, and then continue moving forward anyway. Every step taken despite uncertainty strengthens your confidence. Every challenge faced instead of avoided expands your character. Eventually, the situations that once intimidated you become proof of how far you have grown. Fear never disappeared. You simply learned that it was pointing toward the very place where your greatest transformation was waiting. Your mind is one of the most valuable assets you will ever possess. Every decision you make, every opportunity you recognize, and every dream you pursue begins with the quality of your thinking. Yet many people protect their money more carefully than they protect their thoughts. They guard their possessions, but leave their minds open to constant negativity, criticism, fear, and distraction. Over time, those influences quietly shape beliefs, decisions, and ultimately the direction of an entire life. Every day, your mind absorbs information from conversations, social media, news, entertainment, and the people who surround you. None of these influences are neutral. Every message either strengthens your confidence or weakens it. Every voice either encourages growth or reinforces limitation. Even when you believe you are simply listening, your brain is constantly collecting patterns that later influence your attitudes and behavior. The challenge is that negative influence rarely arrives in dramatic ways. It often appears as casual comments, repeated complaints, constant comparisons, or subtle doubts about what is possible. Someone says your dream is unrealistic. Someone reminds you why others have failed. Someone laughs at an ambitious goal because it makes them uncomfortable. Those words may disappear from the conversation, but they often remain inside your thoughts far longer than you realize. The human mind naturally gives greater attention to negative experiences than positive ones. This tendency once helped people notice potential dangers, but in modern life, it can cause criticism and discouragement to linger in memory, while encouragement fades quickly. If you are not intentional about what you allow into your mind, negative voices can slowly become your own inner dialogue. Protecting your mind does not mean avoiding reality or pretending challenges do not exist. It means refusing to let pessimism become your identity. It means recognizing that difficult circumstances are temporary, while your mindset determines how you respond to them. Optimism is not believing everything will be easy. It is believing that every challenge contains an opportunity to learn, improve, and continue moving forward. Your environment matters more than most people imagine. Spend enough time around people who constantly complain, and complaining begins to sound normal. Spend enough time around people who avoid responsibility, and excuses become acceptable. Spend enough time around those who pursue growth, solve problems, and encourage progress, and your own expectations begin to rise. The standards around you quietly become the standards within you. That is why successful people are intentional about what they consume. They read ideas that challenge them. They seek conversations that expand their thinking. They spend time with individuals who inspire action instead of fear. They understand that every piece of information they repeatedly accept is helping shape the person they are becoming. Growth is not only about learning more. It is also about refusing to feed your mind with beliefs that limit your future. Another powerful source of negative influence is comparison. Looking at someone else's achievements without understanding their journey often creates unnecessary discouragement. You begin measuring your beginning against another person's years of experience. Instead of appreciating your own progress, you become distracted by someone else's timeline. Comparison steals focus from the work that truly matters. Your greatest competition has never been another person. It has always been the version of yourself you were yesterday. Protecting your mind also requires setting healthy boundaries. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your energy. Some people will always project their fears onto your ambitions because your growth challenges their comfort. Listening to every negative voice will eventually drown out your own vision. Wisdom is knowing the difference between constructive feedback that helps you improve and destructive negativity that only encourages doubt. Every remarkable achievement begins with a mind that refuses to surrender its belief in possibility. That belief must be protected every single day through intentional choices, meaningful relationships, disciplined thinking, and consistent focus. When you guard your mind with the same commitment that you guard your most valuable possessions, you create an environment where confidence can grow, resilience can strengthen, and purpose can flourish. The quality of your future will always reflect the quality of the thoughts you choose to protect today. The world celebrates moments, but success is rarely created in a moment. People see the promotion, the successful business, the standing ovation, or the breakthrough achievement and assume it happened suddenly. They admire the visible result without seeing the invisible years that made it possible. Every remarkable accomplishment has a hidden history filled with quiet discipline, repeated failures, early mornings, late nights, and countless decisions that no audience ever witnessed. Success is almost always built in silence, long before it is recognized in public. One of the greatest misconceptions about achievement is the belief that opportunity alone creates success. Opportunities matter, but preparation determines whether those opportunities become life-changing. When preparation meets opportunity, people call it luck. What they rarely see is the long period of consistent effort that made someone ready for the moment everyone else considered unexpected. The invisible phase of success tests something far more valuable than talent. It tests commitment. It asks whether you are willing to continue improving when there is no applause, no recognition, and no immediate reward. Anyone can stay committed when people are cheering. The real challenge is continuing when nobody is watching, when progress feels slow, and when the results remain hidden beneath the surface. Think of a tree growing from a tiny seed. Before anyone notices branches reaching toward the sky, an extensive root system is developing underground. Those roots are invisible, but they determine whether the tree can survive future storms. Success follows the same principle. Your unseen preparation becomes the foundation that supports visible achievement later. Without strong roots, rapid growth eventually collapses. Many people quit because they judge their progress by what others can see instead of what they are becoming. They mistake invisible growth for failure. Every book you read expands your thinking even before others recognize your knowledge. Every skill you practice improves your ability before anyone notices your expertise. Every disciplined decision strengthens your character before the world sees your confidence. Internal transformation always happens before external recognition. This is why patience is one of the greatest advantages successful people develop. They understand that meaningful progress is often difficult to measure in the beginning. Instead of demanding immediate results, they focus on becoming better every day. They trust that consistent effort creates momentum, even when visible evidence is still limited. Their confidence comes not from instant rewards, but from knowing they are investing in a future that is still being built. There will always be moments when you question whether your effort matters. You may feel unnoticed while others seem to advance more quickly. During those moments, comparison becomes especially dangerous. You are comparing someone else's visible chapter with your invisible preparation. Every journey follows a different timeline. Some victories appear early, while others require years of quiet development. The timing is less important than the foundation you are building. Your daily decisions become even more meaningful when nobody is paying attention. Choosing discipline over distraction, choosing preparation over procrastination, choosing excellence over convenience. These choices may never receive immediate recognition, but they shape the kind of person who is ready when opportunity finally arrives. The audience may applaud the performance, but the performance reflects years of unseen practice. The strongest leaders, creators, entrepreneurs, and innovators understand that private excellence eventually becomes public influence. They do not depend on recognition to remain consistent, because they know that character is developed in private before it is displayed in public. Every unnoticed effort is adding another layer to the foundation of future success. When recognition finally comes, people often focus only on the final achievement. They celebrate the visible outcome while overlooking the invisible process that made it possible. Yet those quiet years are the true story. They are where resilience was formed, discipline was strengthened, wisdom was earned, and confidence was built through repeated action instead of repeated praise. Long before the world notices what you have accomplished, your daily commitment is already shaping the person capable of achieving it. The greatest victories are never created in the spotlight. They are created in the ordinary moments when nobody is watching, but you choose excellence anyway.